What is up, YouTube? This is Fortune Striker giving you another deck profile here today at the Block Game Shot. And here today we are with, what is your name, sir?
Marcus Fajardo.
Excuse me?
Marcus Fajardo.
Alright, this is Marcus. But today we'll be doing another Qliphort deck profile, which is this gentleman here is nicely to allow me to see. Now, just to give a little recap, he will not be showing his side deck, which I can understand his reasons. But we will wait to see both his deck and his extra deck. He was also just here for fun or for the tournament?
Both.
Alright.
It's really mostly just testing for ARG Orlando.
Are you still competing in the tournament?
I gave the win to a friend, so I'm letting the rest of my teammates top.
Okay, and what is your winning score right now?
X2.
X2?
Well, not now. I gave the win, so now it's X3.
Oh, okay, I understand. Alright, well, let's begin the deck profile. Just make sure you show the cards ready for the viewers.
Alright, start off. 3 Scout. This is mandatory. Like some of the cards in the deck is like, it's basically your toolbox. You search out everything you need with this card, so you have to run 3. That's the first card you want to have out to start your setup for this deck. Then you also have 3 Carrier. He's one of your other go-to guys. Usually when you start off your combo with Magic Card Sacrifice, which I'll be showing you in a few minutes, you summon him and you put the sacrifice to him. The whole point of him is when he's tributed, you get to bounce an opponent's monster on the side of the field back to their hand, which helps you with your OTKs. And he's one of the low pendulum scales, which is another factor. Then I only run 2 Helix. That differs from player to player. I mean, he's pretty good. I mostly use him I go into him for the rogue matchups because when he's tributed, he pops a spell and trap card. It also combos well if I have double scout on the field and I need to pop one of them so that I can pendulum summon, because you have to have a high level and a low level. So I would need, like, if I have a carrier and a helix, that will enable me to pendulum summon any of my pendulum monsters from my extra deck. I run 3 discs. This card is ridiculous. Basically, when he is tribute summoned properly, I get to go into my deck and special summon 2 Quill monsters from my deck. Usually, it'll either be another disc, or a helix, or another carrier. Basically, he's part of the OTK combo. He's the card that sets off the helix and the carrier. He's the monster I'm tributing for at all times. I mean, you can tribute for any of them, but this is the guy you want. So that's why I run him at 3, to make the deck consistently pull off that combo. Because this deck can OTK very quickly and very easily. I run 1 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, and I just call him Cat. I don't even call him by his real name. I was running him at 2, and most people was running him at 2, but it really clogged up my hands. The whole point of him in his deck is for me to get Scout. Scout is the card that you want more than anything else in this deck to start off with. So you have multiple ways of searching him, but if you don't draw those cards, then you can have Pendulum Dragon. Basically, you put it in your Pendulum Zone, and during the interface it gets destroyed, and that allows you to search for a pendulum monster with an attack of 1,000 or less. So you have to run him, but I cut him down to 1, and it's been working fine for me. This guy right here, this little cat's full of tricks. Basically, I use him to combo off with my scout when I do my pendulum plays. I put him in my pendulum zone. When I pendulum summon a monster, I can bounce one of the cards in my pendulum zones. So basically, I put this in my pendulum zone, pendulum summon my monsters, then bounce the scout. Now that scout is not on the field, that enables me to XYZ, to go into my extra deck with my Pendulum Summon monsters, because while the Scout or any other Quill monsters in my Pendulum zone, I cannot special anything but the Quill monsters. So this card is very critical, but I don't think later on in the format, when the new set come out, the new support come out, that this card will be needed anymore. But until that time, you have to run it. Have to run this one. The other card I run, which has been proven to be very successful to me, Triple Maxi. Basically, right now in this format, there's only 3 decks. You're either playing this deck, Shadalls, Dinko, or Dinko Dolls, because if you're not playing Dinko Sekka, then you're not playing Shadalls. You're not going to win. Or you're playing Burning Abyss, which is my roughest matchup. Like, Fire Lake is devastating. Dante, double Dante first turn is a devastating combo, but they hate this with a passion. I go Maxi, they have to stop in their tracks. They cannot continue. Because if I gain too many cards, when it's my turn, I can and will OTK them. So, and overall, it's just a really good card because this format, special summons all over the place. Shadal special summon with the Shadal fusion. Even my deck in the mirror match, when my opponent goes and Pendulum summons, Maxi, you need to have it. But it's really, I really put it in there mostly for the Burning Abyss matchup. Now onto the spells. Holding 3 Upstart Goblins. I mean, it's a Hoban standard. There's nothing else I need to say about it. I mean, it's Upstart. I need to get to my pieces. I only run 2 pot. I was running 3, but I cut it down because it tended to be a little bit cloggy. And I wanted to try to focus on Pendulum Summoning a little bit more, or when I go for my disc play, if I potted that turn, I can't go and special summon 2 from my deck. The deck is still consistent because I have most of these just really here for 2 things: either searching the Scout or searching through my deck to get a trap card to set at the end of my turn. Because I like ending. You want to end with at least 1 or 2 back row face downs. So, but I only went pot at 2. I didn't feel a need for 3. 3. Summoner's Art. A card that was unknown until this deck came along. Lets me add a level 5 or higher normal monster from my deck to my hand. I only get this for 1 card on Scout. My priority is to get Scout first turn every single time I play. Because without Scout, I cannot go off. I literally cannot. And that's the only reason this card is in this deck. Gotta run 3. You can't run 2. You can't compromise on that. 3 Sacrifice. A critical part of the Qliphort combo that makes this deck truly annoying. This was the card that made me decide I want to play this deck in the first place because it's simply amazing. I equipped it to one of my Quill monsters. Now that monster counts as 2 tributes for any tribute summon monster using Quill. So my disc is level 7. So when I can just equip this to one of my carriers or my Helix, tribute it, and I only have to tribute that one monster, and I can bring out my disc and the combos go off. The other effect about it is the fact that whatever monster I have it equipped to, it gains 300 attack and can be destroyed by battle. So in some grind games, that proves to be a very amazing ability. And to top it off, if that wasn't enough, when this card is sent to the graveyard, from the field to the graveyard, I could search my deck for any Quill monster and add it to my hand. So I'll get Scout, get whatever Quill monster I need. This card is amazing. You have to run it at 3. It's amazing. Because I hate back row except my own. Triple MST. Fire Lake is a real card. Fire Lake. 2 Night Beam. Once again, Fire Lake. I hate Fire Lake. Those MSTs and the Night Beams are there to stop all the floodgates. Speaking of floodgates, one of the MVPs of this deck, Skill Drain. When I summon all my Qliphort monsters, they become level 4 with 18 attack. But the moment I flip up the skill drain, all that changes. So they go back to their original attack. So I'm normal summoning 24 beaters, 28 beaters, and then a quick attach. All I have to do is attach a sacrifice, and the monsters increase by 800, not 300. So my 24 becomes a 27, and so on and so on. Shuts down the meta right now. Shuts down the meta entirely. This has been one of my favorite cards. This has been my favorite card since TG Stone, which I'll probably be going back to. Second floodgate card of the format. Everybody's running. If you're not running this card, you are not going to win. Money. Vanity's Emptiness. Can't special summon. Can't Pendulum. Can't XYZ. Can't Synchro. No Call of Haunted. No Soul Charge. No Rekindling. No nothing. You have to run it. If you can't run it at 3, you gotta run it at 2. You have to run this card. This is like one of the best floodgates in the game, in the meta, and I feel it's a really balanced card. So I don't think they plan on restricting this card anytime soon, but you have to run it. If you want to play competitively in this format right now, you have to run this card. Finally, my one-offs Compulse and Warning. I mean, simple one-offs that they really don't need no explanation. Onto the extract. I run 1 Karn Knight. I don't go and say the whole name. Basically, I XYZ into this if I don't want them popping my skill drain. I want them MSTs to go somewhere else. So basically, it allows me to redirect the effect of a card that targets one specific card in my field. And it's 2450, so it's pretty beast. One Exciton Knight is Exciton Knight. Blows up everything on the field except himself. Steel Storm Roach. I mostly bring this out when I'm playing in the mirror. So when they go and tribute their disc, Steel Storm Roach, nope, not today. And Heretics as well.
You would have more mana, you could.
Number 82, Heartland Draco. Most people forget that the monsters in the pendulum zones are spells. As long as I control the spell card, this card cannot be selected as an attack target. Basically, I use him to try to go for game because he can attack directly. By detaching, I can attack directly with him. He's the only one that can attack, but that's all I need, really. 2 hits, you should be dead. In this format. Number 103, Ragnar Zero. Mirror Match, Dolce, Spire Fizz, Illusions, basically anything, most of the rogue matchups, anything that increases or decreases from its original attack, I draw a card. And it's a 24, so it's pretty hard to get over. Number 80, basically a walking DD Crow. I very, very rarely bring them out. I mean, the only time I bring it out is probably against Burning Abyss, because I want to banish their Dante, so they cannot get them back. Because Dante and Fire Lake, I don't like that combination. Abyss Dweller, Mermels, Dark Worlds, Burn Abyss.
In the exile zone.
Discard and their effects won't work for the rest of that turn. So you gotta run one of these. Number 16. Volcanosaurus. I run them because my scouts, if for some reason my scouts are gone and sent to my, when pendulum monsters are destroyed, they don't go to the graveyard. They go on top of your extra deck where they can be pendulum summoned. So later on down the line, late game, if I have 2 scouts already in my extra, when I pendulum summon them, I had the problem where it's like they're just sitting there. They only have 1,000 attacks. So I decided to make use of that and run Volcanosaurus, which is pretty broken because I can detach and pop my opponent's monster, and my opponent will take damage equal to that monster's attack, but then I cannot attack directly. But I don't need to worry about that because immediately after I do that, I just drop this on top. Guy Charger. The whole reason he's there is to drop over number 16. Pop, burn you, then he can pierce, and that's what he's there for. Basically to drop over my number 16. I do run 3 level 7s, so I have the option of making Draco Sack, which is pretty clutch sometimes. I've only made him once so far since I started playing this deck, but I wouldn't take him out of my extra deck because you never know. Number 50, Black Ship of Corn. I love this card ever since it came out. Basically, pesky cards like Zen Mains, Ice and Fire Hands, anything you don't want to destroy, but you need to get rid of it. Sends it to the graveyard. As long as they're not stronger than him, 9 times out of 10 they're not. They're gone. Cowboy, the 800 burn damage. Downer Magician. I will explain why I run this. The reason I run this card is because one of the cards in my side right now, I don't know if it's going to remain or not. I do play Mind Control. And Enemy Controller. So basically during my Burn Abyss matchup, I'll Enemy Controller or I'll Mind Control their Dante or whatever rank 3 they have on board. And I'll just drop the Downward Magician on it. And now they've just gone negative. It's a 21 beater that with materials it gains 200 extra attack for each material. So it's a pretty awesome card. And I really hate my Burn Abyss matchup. So that's what she's there for. Dark Rebellion XYZ Jack. When I first saw this card, I did not like it. I thought it was a waste of time in most rank 4 decks. But it actually won me a game today, so some of my teammates were like, shut the F up, I told you to run it. And they were right. Basically, I detached 2 materials from it, which I don't like. And cut my opponent's monster's attack in half. And my opponent loses attack. My monster will gain that attack that my opponent lost. So my opponent's monster has 2,000 attack. It will lose 1,000, and then my monster will gain 1,000, bringing it up to 35, which is pretty good. And last but not least, my favorite tokens. I got this token from my teammate, Jesse Gonzalez, who went to Nationals in Chicago about a year ago. And catch you guys later.
Well, that's his Qliphort deck. Unfortunately, I had to leave because I just saw my mom. Well, I have to go anyway. I do not want to waste your time. But is there anything else you want to say?
I might check out my channel, Guru Kage, or check out my cousin's channel, your Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Shouts out to the Rock Shop, and thanks for doing the profile.
All right, so this is Marcus's Qliphort, guys. I thank you very much for having him, and this is Fortune Striker signing off.